They lost everything. Not because of storm, not because of bad luck, but because of a single line buried in their insurance policy that they never read. You pay your premiums. You follow the rules. And still, when disaster hits, the insurance company says, "We're sorry, you're not covered." And through it all, the one thing that was supposed to protect you didn't. This isn't just bad luck. It's the number one insurance mistake most Americans make. And it's costing them everything they built and everything they love. In this video, we're going to reveal exactly what that mistake is, who's most at risk, and how to fix it before it ruins your future. Because the truth is, it's not about how much you're paying. It's about what you think you're paying for. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know more than 90% of people know about how insurance actually works. And you'll know exactly how to avoid the mistake that's silently draining your wallet. This is what they don't want you to know, but you're about to. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually read your insurance policy? If you're like most people, never. And that's exactly what the industry is counting on. 64% of Americans don't know what their policies actually cover. Not in health insurance. Not in renter's insurance. Not even in car insurance. But every single one of them thinks they're protected. It's like buying a fire extinguisher, only to find out it's full of confetti when your house is burning down. This right here, this illusion of safety, is the most dangerous part. Because when things go wrong, you don't rise to the level of your expectations. You fall to the level of your preparation. And the sad truth is, most people haven't prepared. They've purchased something they don't understand. They don't ask questions. They don't read the exclusions. They don't even know what a deductible is. Yet when disaster strikes, they say, "But I thought I was covered." Jim Rohn once said, "You must take personal responsibility. You cannot change the circumstances, the seasons, or the wind, but you can change yourself." You see, this isn't just an insurance problem. It's a personal responsibility problem. A planning problem. No one ever taught me this problem. And by the time people realize it, it's usually too late. So in the next section, we're going to show you the story that opened our eyes. A real person. A real loss. A real insurance failure. Because once you see what they went through, you'll never ignore your policy again. In 2017, just outside of Houston, Texas, a young couple named Sarah and Daniel bought their first home. It was everything they had worked for. Sarah was a teacher. Daniel was a mechanic. And after years of saving, scraping, and sacrificing, they finally had a place to call their own. Their home sat near a floodplain, but their mortgage lender didn't require flood insurance. So they passed on it. "I mean," Sarah said, "what are the chances?" 8 months later, Hurricane Harvey hit. The storm dumped over 50 inches of rain on their town. And within 48 hours, their dream home was underwater. Sarah and Daniel were evacuated by rescue boat. When they returned days later, there was nothing left. The insurance adjuster came. He looked around, took pictures, then handed them a document. "Unfortunately," he said, "this is an uncovered peril." In one sentence, $200,000 of damage was on them. No payout, no recovery funds, no help. They used their emergency fund, their savings, even their retirement accounts. But it wasn't enough. Eventually, they had no choice. They sold the property at a loss. And they moved in with Sarah's parents. Daniel fell into depression. He blamed himself for skipping the extra coverage. But the truth is, millions of people would have done the same thing. They assumed insurance covered the big stuff. They assumed their home was protected. But here's the catch. Standard homeowners insurance doesn't cover flooding. In fact, over 80% of flood victims had no flood insurance. And most of them didn't know that until it was too late. So what was their real mistake? It wasn't skipping the premium. It was trusting that their basic coverage would catch them when they fell. And that's what this entire video is about. Not fear, not guilt, just the truth. Because here's the reality. Every one of us, right now, is one mistake away from a financial nightmare. One checkbox, one clause, one assumption could mean the difference between rebuilding or starting over with nothing. And the insurance companies, they're not going to call you up and say, Hey, just so you know, this doesn't cover flood, earthquake, theft, or water backup. Because if they did, they'd sell fewer policies. They're banking on your silence, your trust, your belief that someone else is looking out for you. But if Sarah and Daniel had paid just $34 a month for a flood policy, they could have saved everything. So, how do you make sure you're not next? That's what we're going to reveal next. Because knowing the problem is the first step to finally being protected. Everyone thinks the biggest insurance mistake is overpaying. Too much premium. Too many policies. And yes, nobody likes to feel ripped off. But that's not the real danger. The real insurance mistake is this: thinking you're protected when you're not. It's the illusion of coverage. It's the fine print you never saw. It's the assumption that just because you pay, you're safe. But assumptions are dangerous. Because insurance doesn't pay based on what you thought it covered. It pays based on what the contract says. And unless you read every word of your policy, that contract probably says a lot less than you'd expect. You see, most people believe they're buying peace of mind, but what they're actually buying is limited liability. They think they're covered for flood, but flood isn't covered. They think their valuables are protected, but their jewelry cap is $1,500. They think medical is covered, but not that kind of emergency. They think their car has full coverage, but full doesn't mean everything. They thought they were being smart. In reality, they were walking blindfolded into a minefield. And the worst part? They don't find out until after disaster strikes. Because that's how the industry works. They sell trust. They deliver clauses. Let me be clear, not all insurance is bad. Some of it is essential. But the way we think about insurance, that's broken. We treat it like a safety net. But in many cases, it's more like a coupon with restrictions we never read. And when those restrictions show up, the damage is already done. So here's the truth. The one insurance mistake that costs you most is not asking the right questions. Questions like, exactly what isn't covered? What are my limits for valuables? Does this cover water backup, theft, earthquakes, or someone else crashing into me without insurance? Because the worst policy isn't one that's expensive. It's one that gives you a false sense of security. It's one that makes you think, I'm good, when you're anything but a crack in the ceiling starts forming. So if you've made this mistake, you're not alone. But now you know what to look for. We'll break down exactly what to do about it. Jim Rohn once said, you must take personal responsibility. You cannot change the circumstances, the seasons, or the wind, but you can change yourself. This one idea, responsibility, is a foundation of everything he taught. And it applies to insurance more than most people realize. You see, insurance isn't just a bill. It's not just another expense. It's a mirror, a reflection of how much we care about protecting what we've built. Jim believed that if you work hard to earn something, you should work just as hard to keep it. And insurance, done right, is how we keep it. But most people don't think that far ahead. Jim said, the few who do are the envy of the many who only watch. That's the mindset gap. It's not about intelligence. It's about intentionality. Jim taught that people live in two worlds, the world of default and the world of design. Default says, I've got insurance. I'm fine. Design says, I know exactly what I'm covered for and why. Jim would have asked, did you get what was cheap or what was right? Because one protects your monthly budget, but the other protects your entire life's work. Jim also warned, it's not the blowing of the wind that determines your destination. It's the set of the sail. Most people don't set their sails with insurance. They just drift until they crash into a storm. But those who prepare, who review their policies, ask questions, and adjust coverage, they stay afloat. Jim Rohn never used buzzwords. He used principles. And the principle here is simple. If something matters to you, protect it before it's tested. Don't insure your house after the fire. Don't ask about flood protection when the water's already rising. That's what Jim would have told you. Because insurance isn't about fear. It's about wisdom. It's about knowing that bad things happen. And they happen more often to those who think they're immune. Jim didn't wait for disaster. He planned for legacy. And if you follow his philosophy, you'll realize that insurance isn't the enemy. It's the evidence of your leadership. Because protecting your family is what leaders do. So as we move forward, keep this in mind. The policy isn't the goal. Clarity is. That's what Jim Rohn stood for. And that's the mindset that separates those who thrive from those who just survive. So let's break it down. The 3 insurance mistakes that cost people the most and how to avoid them. Most people assume I've got full coverage means they're safe. But in reality, full often just means the legal minimum plus basic protection. Your policy might say it covers theft, but that doesn't mean it covers your $4,000 bike or grandma's diamond ring. Life changes, but most people treat insurance like a one-time thing. Marriage, kids, a new job, all of that affects what needs protecting. If you're making any of these mistakes, don't panic, but don't ignore them, because knowing is half the battle. And fixing it? That's how you take control, the Jim Rohn way. So now you know the mistake. You know how most people lose everything without even realizing it. Now let's fix it, step by step. Step 1. Review your current policies. That includes auto, home, renters, health, even pet or umbrella insurance. Step 2. Highlight what's not covered. Look for exclusions, limits, and outdated details, especially anything under the personal property, flood, or acts of God sections. Step 3. Ask your agent specific, uncomfortable questions. What's the worst case scenario this policy won't help me with? And what do most people regret not adding? Step 4. Adjust your coverage. Add flood, raise limits, or get riders for valuables. Now, not later. And finally, step 5. Revisit it every year, because life changes. And your protection should too. This is how Jim Rohn would protect his legacy. And now, so can you. So here's the truth, one last time. It's not the storm that costs you the most. It's assuming you'll be covered when it hits. Whether it's flood, theft, an accident, or an unexpected lawsuit. The real mistake is waiting until after to figure it out. Jim Rohn used to say, you can't hire someone to do your push-ups for you. Insurance isn't glamorous. But it's the kind of decision that changes everything after something goes wrong. And it's one of the few things in life where you already know how to fix it. If you watch this far, you're not the average person. You're the kind of person who wants to take ownership before it's too late. So double check your policies. Ask the uncomfortable questions. And if this video helped you see something clearly, help someone else by sharing it. Also, subscribe if you want timeless financial clarity.